Is this the next hotspot for digital nomads? We all know and love Lisbon, but I don't hear enough about Portugal's cultural capital, Porto. Good morning from Portugal's cultural capital. We are in Porto for the next week as digital nomads. If you're new around here, hi, my name's Dane. I'm a digital nomad. I travel the world. I've lived in Australia for the last few years. I work online and travel around. And this week, I'm going to be spending my time in Porto, a city I've never been to. We have been to Lisbon many times on this channel, but I thought, let's go to Porto because I don't know anything about Porto and I want to go explore. So come with me in this video as I show you all the places you need to go as a digital nomad. We're going to be talking about visas, accommodation, how much things cost, and a lot more. So make sure you hit subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And yeah, let's go find a nice coffee spot because let me tell you, the coffee culture and the cafes here are unbelievable. So as to be expected, we are in Europe, so the coffee culture and just the cafe culture is 10 out of 10. And I have not been disappointed with the coffee so far in Porto. Very nice. The food and coffee in Porto were impressive. As a huge foodie myself, I'd rather splash out on good food, and I found so many beautiful cafes and restaurants to eat at. You're really spoiled for choice, especially if you're a vegetarian or vegan. On average, I spent between 10 to 15 euros on a meal, and coffee was usually around 3 to 4 euros. Groceries were inexpensive, and I'd usually visit the Pingo Doce every few days to get breakfast items. If you're a digital nomad like me, there's one essential thing you need to ensure you're covered for your global adventures. Insurance. As digital nomads, we're constantly on the move. Working online while exploring new destinations and going on crazy adventures. With all this unpredictability, having reliable insurance is crucial. That's why I've been with SafetyWing from day one. Here's why I recommend it. They truly understand our unique needs. Whether it's the flexibility of purchasing insurance on the go or the convenience of a recurring subscription, they've got us covered. SafetyWing's Nomad Insurance is designed by nomads for nomads. Because as nomads, our travel plans are constantly evolving. A big thanks to SafetyWing for partnering with me on this video. If you want to get insured with their Nomad Insurance, check out the link in the description below. Now let's get back to Porto. Coffee done, now it's time to see the city from a local's perspective. Now the hill that I die on is the best way to see a city is go on a free walking tour. They pretty much have these everywhere in the world in like major cities, and it's a donation / tip based walking tour. And we are gonna go and meet 1-2 tours to find out a bit about the history of Porto. One thing I absolutely loved about Porto is how walkable the city is. As digital nomads, we want to be able to get everywhere easily. Usually I could reach most places in 15 to 20 minutes on foot. Ubers were relatively cheap, costing around 4 euros for a ride, and there was public transport that connects you all around the city. I'd highly recommend joining a walking tour to get your bearings and learn a bit of the history. On our tour with 1-2 Tours, we visited a few spots, including one of the most beautiful train stations in the world. Good morning. So this is, I guess, the not so fun part about being a digital nomad is the actual work part. The good thing about being here for a week is I am going to be spacing the activities out so I could do like 1 or 2 sightseeing things per day and still work and explore and just like live a vibey little digital nomad life. So I'll give you a quick tour of the apartment because it's actually really nice. This place is 700 euros per week. I'm sharing it with a friend, so it is actually affordable with 2 people. We have a sort of bedroom here. I guess it's a studio, but then we also have this really nice space. There's enough space for 2 people to work. And then I'll show you the garden in a second. And then we have a nice big bathroom here. But yeah, it's pretty cool. The only thing I don't like about this Airbnb, it is like slightly out of the center, but it is currently August, which is peak tourist season here in Europe, so it was mega expensive. So this is what my budget allowed me to get this week. If I wanted to stay in the center, it'd honestly be like double. So there are a few accommodation options for digital nomads coming to Porto. I definitely think it's more affordable than Lisbon. If you've ever been to Lisbon, you know, like the rentals and like accommodation prices have just increased so much over the last few years because it has boomed. It's a very popular destination. So firstly, you have Airbnbs, and I think you could probably get an Airbnb a bit cheaper. We did book a nicer sort of Airbnb, but there were some around the 500 euros per week mark. And there are also a few digital nomad co-living spaces which you can find on coliving.com. There's one that I looked at, but it was shared bathroom. Because I'm sharing with a friend and we put our budgets together, I'm like, we might as well get a place of our own. And yeah, this is perfect for the two of us for the week. And then of course we have Selena. Now if you've never stayed at a Selena, they have Selenas all over the world, and Selena is always a great place to stay as a digital nomad because you've got fast Wi-Fi. They always have like activities like yoga, and there's always a cafe on site. Of options for accommodation as a digital nomad coming to Porto. Before we go out exploring, I'm going to do a bit more work and we will go to the palace in Porto, which I'm really excited because it is so beautiful here. So work is done for the morning and it's around 10 AM, so I've just popped out. I'm gonna explore for a few hours and then go back to the Airbnb and do some work. So I am gonna head for a coffee and then head to the palace here because it looks absolutely stunning. And there's lots of good coffee places, as you saw in yesterday's part of the video. So of course I want to find the best coffee in town, and I just did a quick Google search of oat latte where I'm standing right now. There's a place called So Coffee Roasters. It's a 4.7, it's 1 minute walk away. Let's see what we think. So from So Coffee Roasters, flat white with oat milk. Very delicious. The price is kind of comparable to Australia. So in Australia I can get a coffee, takeaway coffee for like $6, and this was basically $6 because it was €3.70. Okay, so this is not a bad way to start a Monday morning here in Portugal as a digital nomad. Cheers to online work. Oh my god. Okay, reality is I just spilled half my coffee over the floor because I'm an idiot. I've bought the ticket for Palace da Bolsa. They only do guided tours, which is absolutely fine because I personally like a guided tour because you're literally getting like all the information like about the history and the building and the architecture. So I think it'll be really interesting. And it was only €12. So I'm booked on to the English speaking tour in about 20 minutes. And I'm just enjoying this nice little green space right here. Porto is the perfect spot for a digital nomad because it's affordable, has great food options, and offers plenty of activities to enjoy when you're not working. Another highlight is how everyone gathers in Jardim do Moro every evening to watch the sunset. I found myself heading there most nights to enjoy the atmosphere combined of people, music, and drinks. So we've just finished work for the day and we are heading up to the cute little sunset park, and we're gonna get the cable car up. It's really vibey. Super quick cable car. It was €7 one way. I think if you get a return, it's like €11. But now we're gonna go to the cute little sunset park because it's just a vibe. I think this is where everyone hangs out after work, especially if you're like a tourist or digital nomad like me. This is Jardim de Moro. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's such a vibe. Like every night, well, a few nights we've come here this week, and just everyone is outside. People are playing music, having drinks. Good vibes, mate. One of the key indicators of a great spot for digital nomads is the availability of co-working spaces, and I was pleasantly surprised by how many there are around Porto. Although I had great Wi-Fi at my Airbnb and worked there most of the time, I did try out Almada Ponto, which had a quirky vibe and it was super affordable at just €12 for the day. I also checked out Selena's co-working space. It's really impressive and they had dedicated meeting rooms and private booths for those phone calls. So that was Almada Co-work. There are so many co-works in Porto, which tells me there are a lot of digital nomads in Porto. I paid €12. Initially, I didn't like it because there was no AC, there was no air in here. It's pretty hot in Porto at the moment. And I was sweating. I was absolutely sweating. But it felt nice to sit at a desk. I find as a digital nomad, whenever I've paid to go and work somewhere, I am so much more productive. So it cost €12. I was there for about 6 hours. And yeah, I feel like I got my money's worth. It was nice. It was a quirky little vibe. Would recommend it, but maybe not on a really hot day. Yeah, 10 out of 10. So we're on the final morning of our little digital nomad retreat in Porto, and we have come to this beautiful cathedral. It's the same sunset spot we were at yesterday, but this time we have it all to ourselves. There is no one here. We didn't exactly catch sunrise because it is a bit cloudy today, but it is so much more magical without the crowds of people. Now I think because it is August, that is why it is so busy, but it's a vibe up here. I spent a week in Porto, but I could have easily stayed longer, and you might feel the same. As a digital nomad, there are two main visa options here. Typically, you can stay for up to 90 days on a tourist visa, but Portugal has introduced a digital nomad visa that allows you to live in the country for up to 1 year. To qualify, you'll need to show that you earn at least €3,280 per month from outside Portugal. It's a really great option if you want to experience Portugal for longer. So there we have it. That is my week in Porto as a digital nomad. I honestly think this is such a great destination to base yourself. Perhaps not in the middle of summer. We're currently here in August and it's been very busy. Accommodation's been expensive, but I've still had an amazing time. A big thanks to SafetyWing for partnering with me on this video. I've honestly used this insurance for the last 3 years and I think it is the best insurance for digital nomads. So go and check it out down below in the description. And if you want to see more videos like this, please let me know and make sure you hit subscribe, give this video a thumbs up. Until next time, take care and peace out.